in any manner, and with which constituency? Is Parliament nation's highest deliberating body or a boxing ring to test the strength of numbers? If the opposition was confident of its numbers in a speaker's contest, for example, why did it not force a ballot count? It's likely that we are going to see more of the same from the last Parliament. In today's burning question, let's look at what is likely going to be the opposition's strategy and how is government going to counter it. The fact that you are watching News Sunday shows how seriously you take what's happening around you, and so I try to bring you the best. Would the opposition disrupt? That's the burning question. Let me get you the headlines of the day first. Stormy session expected in Parliament tomorrow as Indian leaders are set to stage a protest over the NEET scam and CBI's arrest of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Showdown between India lies after Congress alleges that party lost out in the Lok Sabha elections due to Kejriwal's involvement in Liquorgate.
कि दोषियों को गिरफ्तार किया जाए और दोषियों के खिलाफ सख्त कार्रवाई किया जाए.
More cracks within the India exposed. Congress's Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary takes on Mamata government, questions the state of law and order in Bengal in the aftermath of poll violence. Three new criminal laws to be implemented from tomorrow, set to herald the beginning of a new era in country's justice delivery system. And finally, T20 World Cup Trump follows King Kohli, hitman Rohit Sharma and now Ravindra Jadeja announced retirement. Yes, the first week of the Parliament has been completely marred by chaos and pandemonium created by the opposition. First, they blocked the President's address. Then they did not let the Vice President also speak. And then they blocked the motion of thanks on the President's address, or tried to. Why behave in an undignified manner is the question. Why not accord the respect the President deserves? But the biggest burning question is, would there be a motion of thanks or thanklessness in Parliament this week? Let's look at this story, a package of what has happened over the last week, and then I come back with a panel of guests.
The opposition strategy hasn't really changed. They are back to their disrupt the parliament toolkit. First, they disrupted the president's address. They didn't spare the vice president, marred his address with chaos. And then they even blocked the motion of thanks on the president's address. Shouldn't the president's address be given the dignity it deserves? The President's address, a customary speech delivered at the beginning of each parliamentary session, outlines the government's policies and priorities for the upcoming term. Traditionally, the motion of thanks follows this address where members of both houses express gratitude and provide a feedback on the President's speech. However, this year, opposition parties have raised objections arguing that the President's address does not adequately address critical issues. This move has led to a deadlock in the parliament, with heated discussions and accusations exchanged between ruling party members and opposition leaders. As tensions escalate within the parliament, both sides are expected to continue negotiations to reach a consensus. Meanwhile, the fate of the motion of thanks remains uncertain, pending further deliberations and possible compromises.
All right, joining me in this conversation to represent the BJP, which is the ruling party, nationalist spokesperson of the party, Sanju Verma, also part of the NDA alliance in government, nationalist spokesperson of the TDP, Vijay Kumar. Against them, Anirban Banerjee, political analyst, leans towards the Trinamool. Joining us from Kolkata, Major Ashish Chaturvedi, leader of the Samajwadi Party. Pulla Rao, political analyst, leans towards the DMK. Chandan Gowda, political analyst, leans towards the Congress Party, brings in academic rigor. So if I could begin with you, Chandan Gowda. President's address is part of the Constitution, about which the Congress Party is so gung-ho. Every day, every minute, every hour, we see the Congress leaders led by Rahul Gandhi carrying a copy of the Constitution. And yet we are seeing disruptions for a very constitutional provision of motion of thanks. Chandan Gowda, how should it be allowed? Why should it be allowed?
Abhishek, before I say anything, you're introducing me as leaning towards the Congress is quite not correct. I try to be non-partisan.
Leans against the BJP, I correct.
Sorry? No. I'm critical where things need to be criticized. Anyway, getting back to your question, see, you're right. I mean, it was a joint address to both houses of the parliament. And yes, and the person who introduced the program before you said, critical feedback is what the opposition ought to offer. And I think they've done just that. It may have seemed like a disruption because, I remember different parties had different points to, share. I think Owaisi talked about the omission of the word minorities. She mentioned SCs, STs, and the others, but not the minorities. And I think, he's quite right to point that out. As the president of the country, you can't leave out a huge, section of the population, right? And the Congress had its own objections about how, that she mentioned that the elections had given a clear and full mandate to the government, and they said the ruling party had fallen short of the majority, etc. So each one seems to have a reasonable point to make. The way they went about making it, we may object to, and we can't quite control how those things happen. But I feel when the Aam Aadmi Party says, she was right to remember the emergency critically, but why is she not talking about the way the ED raids and IT raids are CBI is being misused, etc.? Isn't it an undeclared emergency or whatever? Aam Aadmi Party said this, and even Samajwadi Party said something, Chandrasekhar Azad said something, everyone had something to put out, and they all seem legitimate if you ask.
It's a very rational concession, if I could call it, coming in from Chandan Gowda, that every side has a reasonable argument to make, points to make, and maybe the manner in which it is being done might not be the most reasonable. But Pulla Rao, let me take this further. Another opposition voice before I go to the BJP for a defense. You see, President's address to a joint session of Parliament is a provision in the Constitution. So are the contents. The opposition has the opportunity, when the motion of thanks happens, to let their mind be known, not just to the government, but to the rest of the nation. The entire country watches. So why disrupt? I am looking at some of the reactions that the opposition gave to the president's address by way of media sound bites. On the day the president gave that address, this is a script given by the government, was one criticism. Okay, fine. It's full of lies was another criticism. There is an undeclared emergency in the country and the constitution is being attacked by the Modi government was another. If you want, you can say all this inside the parliament. Why compromise the dignity of an institution even as you vouch for the very constitution with a copy in hand? Pulla Rao.
Straight away, I tell you, this is not a new thing. February 1963, when Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister, similar motion. After the President's speech, there were disruptions. Then again in 1971, when Indira Gandhi was Prime Minister, the same thing. The great leader Raj Narayan did all these things. Again in 1989, after before the new government took over, they attacked it because of various reasons. In the Janata Dal, Prime Minister was there. This is nothing new. This has started in 1963. That is the way Indian Parliament has been functioning. And I like to remind you August 2012, Mr. Arun Jaitley wrote a beautiful article. I don't want to quote it and take your time, where he said, disruption is their right. Unless you disrupt Parliament, government will try to put a lid, that's the word he used, on all these happenings. It is a legitimate exercise of political power to disrupt. Mr. Arun Jaitley was a very big minister in the last government, in this present government in the first term, and therefore the opposition today to the BJP is doing the same favor. When the Congress government was there between 2004 and 14, they were disrupted. It is being disrupted now. And to think something new or something strange is happening, you're giving too much importance.
So I tell you what is strange and what's unreasonable. You know, Pulla Rao, I'm not as old as you, so I might not go back to 1960s and 70s. I would not have seen anything of that.
I can go back to British Parliament 200 years ago. I was not alive then. Abhishek. But that's history.
No, but the point I want to make is, Pulla Rao, that, you know, when Mr. Jaitley said, and I would let Sanju Verma defend that, when Mr. Jaitley said disruption is a right, he did not say disruption is a fundamental right. And I think that's the difference. He was a lawyer. He would have understood the difference. You would understand the difference. But as I said, I'll let Sanju Verma respond.
You know, Abhishek, disruption is welcome. Dissent is welcome. Criticism, constructive at that, is welcome. There's a difference between dissent, D-I-S-S-E-N-T, and dissent, D-E-S-C-E-N-T. And the opposition has descended into oblivion and hence decided that whatever Narendra Modi or the NDA does, we have to oppose. We have to be iconoclasts, rebels without a cause. That is what the opposition's mantra is. And I'll tell you why. There is no undeclared emergency. The people who talk about undeclared emergency are the very bunch of people who are sitting on prime-time debates every evening on national television and, you know, maligning the Modi government and its credibility in no uncertain terms. And then this very bunch claims, Loktantra khatre mein hai, free speech khatre mein hai, Ganatantra khatre mein hai, Samvidhan khatre mein hai. Now, Mr. Pulla Rao, I did not interject you. Let me finish. I'll tell you what. Why the government decided, Abhishek, to pass a resolution against the 1975 emergency declared by Indira Gandhi. Because Gen Z, the millennial class, is not aware of it. And I think it's very important to know our history. By trying to brush aside history, you're only going to make life difficult for posterity. And I want people to know who say Arvind Kejriwal is in jail, Satyendra Jain is in jail, Partha Chatterjee is in jail, Anubrata Mandal is in jail. You know, Narendra Modi has unleashed terror. Please, your audience needs to know Kejriwal ko Delhi High Court or Supreme Court mein jail bheja, not Narendra Modi or Amit Shah. Anubrata Mandal, Partha Chatterjee beat Kolkata High Court or Supreme Court. They refused to give them any kind of relief. Whereas in 1975, when Mulayam Singh Yadav was jailed, Sharad Yadav was jailed, Vasundhara Raje was jailed, Gayatri Devi was jailed, L.K. Advani was jailed, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was jailed, George Fernandez was jailed. This was done by Indira Gandhi by completely crushing civil liberties, crushing fundamental rights, revoking the Press Council Act, revoking the Public Safety Act, conducting more than 6.5 million forced sterilizations. And last but not the least, Abhishek, my last point is this. Name the only political party in India which has carried out an amendment to the basic preamble of the Constitution by adding the words secular and socialist. It is none other than the Congress party. So stop giving the BJP bhashan on democracy. पहले अपने गिरेबान में झांक कर देखिए आपने क्या किया है.
Anirban.
Give us gyan.
Okay. Anirban Banerjee of the Trinamool, you know, I somehow fail to understand this criticism that there's an undeclared emergency in the country. This criticism by the same opposition which is objected to criticism of real emergency that was imposed in 1975. The opposition goes with a delegation to the speaker saying, no, you should not be criticizing emergency, while they reserve their right to criticize undeclared emergency. These double standards, Anirban, how long do you sustain that? How do you sustain that?
Well, the declared emergency was real, and so is the undeclared emergency. The objection from the side of the opposition was that you are simply pulling in an incident that happened 50 years back to merely turn the attention of the masses, attention of the people, the focus towards an incident that happened 50 years back, but not on the incidents taking place right now. The parliament session that we saw in the last term, there were almost 150 opposition MPs suspended from the House, and 3 of the most important criminal laws were replaced. The bills came in and they turned into acts, etc., etc., where almost 150 of the MPs of the opposition were suspended. If this is not a trait of emergency that is undeclared, then what is? You have strangulated the voice of the opposition at the drop of a hat. The honorable speaker, we have seen him, he is referring to a opposition MP, chal bad bad. Is this the way a speaker should speak in the parliament? The way he has conducted the House in the last session itself was nothing short of dictatorial. The mics of the opposition leaders, the opposition MPs have been turned off. The cameras have been turned off. They have been suspended at the whims and fancies of the government side. And almost any contentious bill were not discussed. No voting took place. Whenever the opposition tabled their objection, either they were suspended or they were prevented from speaking their point. So therefore, the point of criticizing undeclared emergency is completely valid, and this government is merely trying to shift the focus towards 1975
Abhishek,
to hide up, to cover up all the misdeeds that they have been doing from the last 10 years.
Okay,
please
a lightening of charges. So obviously, Sanju Verma, you get to respond, but quickly, because I have to get in others also. Quickly.
Thank you. You know, I'm glad we are having a sensible debate where none of us are speaking against each other. Anirban and me have had some very feisty debates. I heard him very patiently. Now I want him to do the same. You know, let me be very clear. If there is one government which the Supreme Court has castigated in no uncertain terms, I'm reading out from the Supreme Court 2-judge bench, which in June 2023, at the height of Panchayat poll violence in West Bengal, said to Mamata Banerjee, the license to hold elections is not a license to engage in violence. If you are not able to control violence, if you are not able to maintain law and order, let us know. We will find an alternative mechanism to ensure free and fair elections. And when the Supreme Court used the word you, it meant Mamata Banerjee, who by virtue of being the Chief Minister of West Bengal, who by virtue of being the de facto Home Minister of West Bengal, has completely refused to maintain law and order. Rather, she has abetted and encouraged mala fide elements. I was on a debate with Arnab Goswami 3 days back, where we discussed the horrifying case of a BJP minority morcha worker, a lady called Roshanara Khatun, who was stripped naked and paraded naked for 2 kilometers, and Mamata Banerjee's goons say this is an orchestrated lie by BJP, whereas the social media handles of various parties show that this was not a figment of BJP's wild imagination. Just last point, I have condemned, Abhishek, on various debates on Republic what happened in Manipur. Why is it that Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Vadra, Mahua Moitra, Sushmita Dev, they don't have the decency to condemn what happened to a BJP minority morcha worker who was paraded naked in full public glare? Thodi sharam bachi hai ya nahi? Thodi sharam bachi hai ya nahi?
Sanju, you rightly recall that we have discussed the Cooch Behar episode twice, in fact. But since you have made a charge, I would get quickly for Anirban to respond because he wanted to. And then I have to come back to the conversation we are having, which is about the disruption of the parliament. Anirban, quickly remember, there is another episode that has happened today in North Dinajpur. And the charges being made against you are by your allies, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary and Mohammad Salim, not by the BJP.
No, that man has been arrested. But a very short rebuttal regarding High Court or Supreme Court's judgment. The kind of respect that the Modi government shows was very evident when the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner, the Modi government brought in an ordinance to turn the Supreme Court.
That has been upheld by the Supreme Court. That has been upheld by the Supreme Court. Anirban, the argument is infructuous to the extent that it has been upheld by the Supreme Court. So I have to move on. I have to get in. Major. No crosstalk.
No problem. Who are you to have a problem?
No crosstalk. Supreme Court has already accepted it, Anirban. So it's infructuous. But Major Ashish Chaturvedi of the Samajwadi Party.
But the government did turn. The government did turn against the particular judgment by bringing in ordinance.
But the Supreme Court has accepted it, Anirban. So we have to move on. The Supreme Court has moved on. We have to move on.
Because that is the law. The Supreme Court, unless the basic doctrine, basic structure of the Constitution is altered, will not put in their nose.
Very obviously, so please make the Chief Election Commissioner appointment a part of the basic structure doctrine, and then we can discuss that. But as of now, we are discussing disruption in Parliament, and one of the Samajwadi Party leaders called the President's address full of lies. Mr. Chaturvedi, you know, the fact of the matter is that the President's address is both part of the customs of the Parliament as also part of the Constitution. To be calling it full of lies smacks of the kind of arrogance which makes you wonder whether the Samajwadi Party leaders actually respect the processes, procedures, customs, etiquettes of Parliament.
Abhishek, before I actually respond to that, in the recently held elections, the Samajwadi Party has gained a very big mandate from the people of Uttar Pradesh. And our primary responsibility is towards the electorate, that is the voters and the people of India, and mostly the people of Uttar Pradesh, wherein we have the largest majority. The president usually reads out whatever is sent by the government. And it is the responsibility of the opposition to, monitor what is being said is in favor of the people or it is just in the favor of the government which is there. So when the respected member of the parliament has called it, may have used a little harsh words, but it implies that yes, it is not conveying what it should be conveying. Because who are we there for?
I'll tell you.
We all are aware that she's speaking to the both houses of parliament. She's addressing them, but we have to state our stand. And when the government is not doing its job as a responsible opposition, we have the right to raise our voice for the people of India.
100%. 100%. I am in full agreement with you. But also to tell you the provision, this is from a Rajya Sabha document which is on their website, rajyasabha.nic.in. And so far as the contents of the President's address to the joint session of Parliament is concerned, it says the President's address is the statement of policy of the government and as such is drafted by the government, which is responsible for its contents. So obviously, President has to read what has been provided to them. It's a parliamentary provision. It's a constitutional mandate. You can't be calling it a bunch of lies. Or maybe you want to do that. You can do that when the motion of thanks happens and say, President, maybe you were reading from what the government provided, but we don't agree with it. But at least let the House be in order, which is not being allowed. Mr. Chaturvedi.
So, as the opposition, yes, of course, we have to raise whatever we feel is unjust. We will raise those issues. We've seen in past how the BJP government had prohibited the use of certain words in the parliament. Now, this is the first time which we heard that why certain words were prohibited, because you were trying to curb the opposition from raising the issues of the people because you wanted your image to be portrayed in a certain way. You were not ready to accept the truth. And that is why we've seen such results in Uttar Pradesh. We were trying to raise the issue of leakage of papers time and again and again and again. From there, it has now gone on to the leakage of roof of Ram Mandir also, because leakage everywhere.
Okay,
Then what
but you see,
might put on the,
no, I'll come to you.
do not
I'll come to
allow
you, sir,
this
Sanju Verma. But let me
burden
square it up with
to be
Mr. Chaturvedi. Mr. Chaturvedi, you see, the fact of the matter is, the president herself. No, the fact of the matter is that the president herself mentioned the paper leak issue, which means it's really part of the focus of the government. And the government is absolutely open to the idea of discussing it, and that's why it has been mentioned in the president's address, so that when the motion of thanks happens, it is one of the topics available for the government or and the opposition to express their views on it. So it's not that the government is chickening out of it. They have mentioned it. They are open to it. But you are not letting the house be in order. You are saying, no, discuss this first. In a way, as you mentioned, Samajwadi Party has become the single largest party insofar as the Uttar Pradesh Lok Sabha seats are concerned. So you sort of see in this mandate some kind of a blank check to continue with this disruption. This is essentially the opposition reading in the mandate some kind of instruction from the people that, okay, fine, whatever you do is right. There are no checks left, right?
No, it is not that. No, it is just not that. We are, as I said, we are a responsible opposition. We are just trying
but
to
you are being
raise the
responsible
issues
here,
of
but you're not being responsible in the parliament. Pull her out. You see, look at the way the opposition has behaved. Look at the way the opposition has behaved. Why have you made Kiran Rijiju the parliamentary affairs minister? This is the prerogative of the prime minister. Why have you made, at 99 seats you want to dictate who should be the minister in the council of ministers? Why are you making Om Birla the speaker? We want our say in that, right? If you don't, we will have a contest. But we don't have the stomach to have a vote split. Pull her out. Obviously, this is as Ashish Chaturvedi hints. This is an opposition buoyed up by the numbers and with gung-ho with the numbers, and they believe that they have a right now, a fundamental right to disrupt.
Let me just remind you, I don't want to go to statistics of 100 years ago. This is the biggest opposition in the history of India. The 18th Lok Sabha. The 18th Lok Sabha has the biggest opposition in history. Never before has the opposition as this percentage of members of parliament. Naturally, they are going to do these things. Just a little while ago,
You're justifying it, pull her out.
It is going to be like that. Unless you have a parliamentary affairs minister or the government with enough craft, state craft to discuss with the opposition and get them going. I just want to make one small point. You said the president reads out the address given to her by the government and she has to read it. Agreed. Just a year ago, the governor of Tamil Nadu, Gopi, refused to read the address of the DMK. He refused. And nobody has sacked him.
Sanju Verma, I have to get in Vijay Kumar of the TDP. He is your ally. But quickly you get to rebut because the N Ravi issue has been raised by Pullara. Quickly, 30 seconds, please. I'll continue this conversation, but you respond to N Ravi argument and then I go to Mr. Vijay Kumar.
To Pullara, I have this to say. You spoke about R.N. Ravi not reading out the address that he was supposed to read. The governor is not mandated to read what the chief minister or the council of ministers advises him to do. Please go and educate yourself and read the provisions of the constitution. But more importantly, I want to ask, name one chief minister who does not allow the governor to give his mandatory budgetary address. Stalin did not allow R.N. Ravi to give his mandatory budgetary address. Ahead of Pongal, when R.N. Ravi just started speaking, Stalin along with his entire cabinet moved out of the Tamil Nadu assembly, which is the gross disrespect of the position of governor. And let me tell you, this is the same M.K. Stalin who does not want a discussion on the floor of the house when more than 63 people have died in the horrifying, illicit, huge tragedy in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is reeling under a debt crisis of more than 11 lakh crore, and Stalin says, Sab Changasi. Do you expect the governor to toe the line of Stalin when Stalin does not understand the very meaning of the word democracy? I'm sure he cannot even spell constitution correctly. So please do not give a one-sided view to the audience. Don't be myopic.
Sanju, you see, I think the provision insofar as governor making that address to a special session of the legislature is similar to the one that president has vis-a-vis the parliament. But Mr. Vijay Kumar, my question is that the argument of the government also sort of not handling the situation properly. With the kind of mass suspensions we saw in the last parliament, the number was really, did not look good on the part of the government, Mr. Vijay Kumar. The last mass suspension was about 50-60. Now, we can get into an argument that 50-60 looks equally bad like 146. But it's possible that the government mishandled the situation and gave the opposition the kind of leverage that they have now in terms of making an issue out of disruption, no disruption, calling the shots on that issue.
Thank you, Abhishek. It's not the question of numbers, but the problem with Congress is they feel that nobody in the country should talk about their dark past. And in our panel, the people from Samajwadi Party and DMK supporting that not to talk about the so-called emergency is really surprising because it was their leaders. It was Karunanidhi or Mulayam Singh Yadav who were really facing the brunt in 1975 until 1977. Why shouldn't anybody talk about it? It is something like the Germany should not talk about Nazi atrocities. Emergencies was nothing less than Nazi atrocities. The press censorship, the atrocities, the clamping on the opposition leaders. On the June 25th, early morning of 1975, all the opposition leaders were clamped and arrested. Nothing of that, of the sort has happened now. So they can have any other, see, they don't have, in Madhya Pradesh and all, the Indie group were saying that if BJP comes to power, they will change the constitution. Obviously, they thought that Modi will be soft. Why? Because this time he hasn't got the absolute majority. But Modi again was hard not to track. He does not take it. He was not, ready to take it lying down. So obviously he was attacking them. And Congress, if they say that nobody should talk about emergency, it's atrocious. Obviously, this country has faced for 3 years. And everybody will talk, and it's the 50th year. And they were talking about constitution in their, parliamentary, all the elections.
Right.
Why should
you see, that's a very important argument that you make, the Congress party's double standards when it comes to constitution. Chandan Gowda, if I could get you back in. You see, I was going through the provisions of Article 74. Which says there shall be a council of ministers with the Prime Minister at the head to aid and advise the President in the exercise of his functions. Now, interesting thing is the advice as tendered by the Council of Ministers binding on the President? Because this would apply to the reading of the address which is provided by the government to the President. Yes, the constitutional provision is the advice tendered by the Council of Ministers is binding on the President. Now, interesting part is, Chandan Gowda, that this provision to make the advice binding was added in the Constitution by way of 42nd Amendment in 1976 by the Congress party during emergency. And the same Congress party says this is lies, this is not done, President's address is bunch of lies, President's address is undeclared emergency. I mean, there is a height of these kind of double standards, Chandan Gowda.
Abhishek, very quickly, I think the logical question to ask is this government, which has been in power for the last 2 terms, the 3rd term, why didn't it reopen this thing? If it didn't like that particular thing, it could have been reopened. So I don't know why successive governments have retained it. It may have been added in 1976, but there's nothing to stop a discussion about why it should not be retained.
Tomorrow, if Sanju Verma's government brings in a provision or amendment in the Constitution to make this advice not binding on the President, you would say, same Chandan Gowda would say, oh, the BJP is killing the Constitution, Chandan Gowda.
No. But I must say, we need to look into why that particular binding clause is undesirable. I can't say I know very much about the implications of that thing, but you made it seem like a negative thing to have introduced. So if it is negative, I think it has to be looked into critically now. It could have been looked into many times. But Abhishek, very quickly, disruption of the scheduled time in Parliament is a very serious matter. And you cannot reduce it to just, one party or one opposition doing it. In fact, the PRS, the Parliamentary Research PRS, that body, Abhishek, it actually looked 38% of the UPA-2 government was disrupted. They actually quantified the. So I think this is a serious matter. We definitely need a critical examination of how objections are expressed, etc., without squandering precious parliamentary time. But that said, I feel in this present address, some of these things had to be objected. I mean, you can't say the government has a clear mandate when it didn't have one. Right?
Who, according to you, Chandan, I'll come to you, Sanjay Verma, who, according to you, Chandan Gowda, should be picking up the tabs on critical examination, as you suggest?
No, this has to be a non-partisan. All parties across the board has to come together to arrive at some protocols of how to go about this. Because it's too important to be squandered like this. I mean, this government has just started.
No, you have to give BJP time.
About the previous governments.
Okay, Sanju Verma, Chandan Gowda says that 32% of the time of the UPA 2 saw disruptions, and of course the BJP was in opposition. So there has to be a bipartisan, non-partisan, critical examination of where we stand collectively as responsible citizens, so that gets reflected in the conduct of the parliamentarians.
Abhishek, you have two people from the ruling NDA, BJP and TDP. You have four people who are anti-BJP. So, I will very quickly first rebut what Chandan Gowda said and then rebut the Samajwadi Party, because I did not get a chance to rebut the Samajwadi Party's
You get to do that. You get to do that, yes. But I have, yes.
Thank you. Can I just quickly? First and foremost, let's be very clear. All the people sitting here who are saying, oh, just because BJP has a reduced mandate and has got standalone 240 seats, Prime Minister Modi has lost the moral high ground to lead Modi 3.0. Learn to digest the truth. For the first time in 62 years since 1962, the same incumbent has come back to power, and the man in question is Narendra Modi. Rahul Gandhi, despite all the bombast, is still sitting in the opposition. Point number 2, you said BJP is running a coalition government, so they've lost the moral high ground. Arey bhai sahab, 2004, the Congress got 145 seats, but ran. I did not mean you. When I say bhai sahab, I mean the audience at large. Don't heckle me, I did not heckle you. In 2004, the Congress had 145 seats, but ran a coalition government. Everybody said, oh, well and good. In 2009, the Congress won only 206 seats, again ran a coalition government. The same lot that is crying today said, oh, wow, well and good. The last time Congress won more than 240 seats was in 1984. The last time Congress got more than 230 seats was in 1992. So for anybody, first and foremost, to sit here and wax eloquent about Narendra Modi losing the moral high ground to lead Modi 3.0, that is a whole lot of balderdash. We have a reduced mandate, but the opposition has not got the mandate despite a so-called anti-incumbency of 10 years. I think the fact that Narendra Modi has come back to power for the third time running, despite a perceived anti-incumbency, is an achievement in itself. The second and most important point, very quickly, people sit here and say, oh, R.N. Ravi behaved so-and-so. Between Article 153 and Article 167, the powers of the governor in India are very well elucidated and elaborated upon. I remember Tamilisai being humiliated on the floor of the House. Same Rahul Gandhi and his cabal consumed Fevicol. I remember in Asansol when there were riots, K.M. Tripathi was the governor of West Bengal. Mamata Banerjee did not even allow K.M. Tripathi to visit Asansol. The same lot which is today crying about democracy in danger, they consumed Fevicol. Again, now C.V. Ananda Bose, he is being treated in a manner that I would not even treat somebody who's my domestic staff. But the entire cabal has consumed Fevicol. When Jagdeep Dhankar, who's now the Vice President of India, was the governor of West Bengal, he was not allowed to visit Murshidabad when bombings took place. And the same Mamata Banerjee, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Akhilesh Yadav have consumed Fevicol. Because that time they did not say anything. My last point to the Samajwadi Party. I want to tell the Samajwadi Party one thing because he made many allegations. There is a talk of propriety. There is a talk of, Arun Jaitley ji bahut achhe the, par ab dekhiye, when Arun Jaitley was alive, when Sushma Swaraj was alive, you did not give Arun Jaitley a modicum of respect. You did not give Sushma Swaraj a modicum of respect. Today, unfortunately, when they are no longer with us, you suddenly decide to remember them and quote them as per your convenience. I want to say what Arun Jaitley said about Rahul Gandhi. He said in one of his very famous blogs Rahul Gandhi is a compulsive contrarian. And another thing that Arun Jaitley said about the opposition is great at doing one thing: manufacturing anger and manufacturing dissent on issues that should not even be a topic of discussion. For instance, Abhishek, in 20 seconds, you know, in TMC's West Bengal, both the speaker and deputy speaker is from TMC. Tamil Nadu speaker and deputy speaker from DMK. In Karnataka, speaker and deputy speaker from the Congress. In Telangana, speaker position is with Congress, deputy speaker is vacant.
Okay, valid point.
Jharkhand speaker is from Congress, deputy speaker is vacant. आप करो तो चंगा, बीजेपी करे तो आपके पेट में दर्द होता है.
Valid point. Sanju Verma, valid point. Anirban first. Pulla Rao next, and then Mr. Chaturvedi. Anirban first. You see, the manner in which the Mamata government is engaging with the governor in some ways raises questions. You know, for example, there were reports some days back that there was a posse of policemen outside the Raj Bhavan and did not let the delegation led by a leader of opposition go inside and meet the governor. I mean, what's really happening? This is clearly a case of, compromising with public conduct among constitutional dignitaries. Anirban, I mean, where do we draw a line?
Okay, first of all, regarding C.V. Anand Bose, the Honorable Governor, he has been alleged of a sexual harassment allegation by a worker of the Raj Bhavan. No Trinamool worker, no other party worker, no one. A woman working in his own office has alleged him of sexual assault. And the governor, misusing his power, has stopped the police from investigating the case. That is number one. Why are you getting so hassled? Why are you getting so hassled? Are you the spokesperson of the governor? Are you the spokesperson of the governor? No, Sanju, are you the spokesperson of the governor? See, this is why we say that the governor of West Bengal is basically a leader. The BJP jumps in his defense every time whenever his name is mentioned. Why? Is C.V. Anand Bose a leader of the BJP? Is C.V. Anand Bose a leader of the
Sanju.
There has been a serious allegation of sexual assault. Investigated.
Okay, Anirban, order. Anirban, order. I asked you a question, Anirban.
Don't make stupid allegations at the governor.
Nobody disrupted when Sanju.
Anirban, governor is not there. Anirban, governor is a constitutional position. Anirban, governor is a constitutional position. Nobody is there to defend him. Don't make it one-sided. My question was the manner in which the entire political spectrum is conducting itself. You know, it's a valid point Sanju Verma is making. Answer that. You know, the speaker and the deputy speaker position in Bengal is with the Trinamool. And see the song and dance being made when it comes to parliament at the national level. Answer that question.
The state assembly and the parliament are two completely different entities. In the state assembly, show me a state where they have offered
the fundamentals are same, the principles are same, the constitution is same.
We have seen this happen. That is the custom. And secondly, my question to Sanju and also my friend from the TDP is that TDP in its election manifesto had proposed 4% Muslim quota reservation, if I am not very wrong. And the BJP...
Why not make that an issue during the motion of thanks and embrace the TDP as also the BJP on the floor of the House?
He was saying this is Modi 3.0. I'll tell you, this is not Modi 3.0. This is NDA, and that too with conflicting interests. That TDP, I am just giving an example.
Let me correct both of you. This is Modi 3.0 and NDA 4.0. But you see, Anirban, okay.
Modi 3.0 is the pleasant reality. Jisko bura lagta hai, bura lage.
Okay, move on.
So do you support Muslim reservation? Do you support Muslim reservation as the BJP?
Why not put that during the motion of thanks? Why not? Anirban, my question is, Anirban.
नरेंद्र मोदी को हरा नहीं पाए, यही कड़वा सत्य है.
No, I think you should first stop Sanju Verma. You should first stop Sanju.
Anirban, listen.
Keep
Anirban, listen.
heckling
No,
everyone.
I'm asking you, Anirban. Why are you talking to her? I'm asking you.
CV Ananda Bose.
Sanju Verma.
Because she's disturbing.
Sanju Verma, I have ruled on that. Sanju Verma, I have ruled on that. I have said there is nobody to represent the governor here. It's a constitutional position, so no direct charge, no charges on the governor. But Anirban, my question is, you see, Derek O'Brien, your leader, writes in an op-ed that the president's address was a basket of empty promises. Arey Baba, why express opinion in Express? Express on the floor of the House. Say these things there, right?
Because Abhishek, nobody is barred from expressing their opinion in any editorial, in any piece in newspaper or magazines, and also inside the parliament, whenever the opposition has tried to express their opinion in your words, their mics have been turned off. The cameras have been turned around towards the speaker or the prime minister or the home minister. They are not allowed to speak whenever they are strongly criticizing the government. They are not allowed to speak. Therefore, you might feel that they are not speaking inside the parliament. But they are. They are speaking inside the parliament, just that the government does not want their voices to be heard. We have seen what happened to Mohammed. To see Sanju is again heckling.
Okay, Sanju,
why are you doing this?
Sanju,
why are you doing this? You yourself requested others.
Sanju, I'll come to you. Sanju, I'll come to you. Pulla Rao, Sanju, I'll come to you. No, Sanju, I'll come to you.
Back in the parliament.
Sanju, I will come to you.
Stop her.
Sanju, I will come to you.
To stop her, they could not stop her.
I am stopping her, but Anirban, you also have to stop because I have to take this forward. Sanju, pull back. Anirban, pull back. My question is to Pulla Rao. Pulla Rao, Sanju raised a valid argument. As in the case of Bengal, so in the case of Tamil Nadu, right? The speaker and the deputy speaker are both with the ruling party. Then why not apply the same principle under the same constitution at the center?
No, the very fact is, what about the geography of the country? That is one state. You have the entire country. Would it not be nice to have a deputy speaker from other parties? Would it not be more composite?
But then what is good for the goose is good for the gander. It has to apply equitably at all levels in all governments.
No, I think it makes parliamentary sense to find a deputy speaker who has got seniority, status, sobriety, and give it to him. There are so many such deputy speakers who have done a wonderful job. Let me remind you that there was a Professor P.J. Kurian who belonged to the Congress when Modi ji reign started 2014. They had no trouble with him. They wanted him to continue. People rise to the occasion. A deputy speaker will rise to the occasion. You can demand such a person from the opposition. There are many stalwarts there. You demand such a person. They have been earlier. And I think it's a good parliamentary craft. And one last sentence about that blessed governor of Tamil Nadu. March 21st, 2024, Supreme Court Chief Justice Chandrachud said, I'll give you 24 hours to change your orders, or you see what happened when he changed his orders. I won't talk about that governor again.
What's wrong if he respected the topmost court of the country, Pulla Rao? Why should you be objecting to that?
I beg your pardon, can you repeat it?
No, I said if the governor of Tamil Nadu respected the topmost court of the country, why should you be objecting to that?
No, when he gave him a second warning, on March 21st, I'll give you overnight to obey our orders.
Sanju Verma, okay. Quickly, Sanju Verma, because there is a direct charge. Quickly, Sanju Verma.
Thank you. To Pulla Rao has a great memory. He remembers how the Supreme Court came down on Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi. Pulla Rao forgets Senthil Balaji, Senthil Kumar, T.R. Balu. They made one very humiliating statement pertaining to North Indians. And the Supreme Court castigated them, saying that you should be ashamed that you have not held the public position that you hold in the right order by saying, अरे ये जो नॉर्थ के लोग हैं ना, ये जो उत्तर प्रदेश बिहार के लोग हैं ना, ये तो सिर्फ गोलगप्पे बनाने के लिए सही हैं. North Indians are only good at being hawkers and selling golgappas. The Supreme Court had to remind T.R. Balu. Supreme Court had to remind Senthil Balaji. Supreme Court had to remind Senthil Kumar, all veteran DMK leaders, that they were falling foul of the constitution by creating an artificial north-south divide. Could not talk about that also.
Sanju, that sort of evens or Stevens, you know. But my question is that, and if I can get in Mr. Chaturvedi, you know, Major Chaturvedi, look at the manner in which the difference of opinion, if not outright divide, came out in the open between the Trinamool and the Congress on the issue of Speaker's election, if not the choice. Then look at the manner in which we have seen today, for example, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary of the Congress and Mohammad Salim of the left criticizing the Bengal government. Or for that matter, in the last 24 hours, we have seen very strong positions being taken by Congress leaders in Delhi against the Aam Aadmi Party and the Chief Minister particularly. In fact, two leaders, Sandeep Dikshit and Udit Raj, have sought Arvind Kejriwal's resignation. So it's not all hunky-dory in the opposition in terms of seeing value in the proposition of remaining together. It's only when it comes to Parliament, when the nation is watching, Mr. Chaturvedi, that you see the kind of conduct which is embarrassing. I mean, I would say if I was a youngster watching these debates in Parliament, I would be disheartened.
The manner in which, ever since I started watching Parliament sessions on television, have never been very inspiring and motivating. It's an open fact. It is nothing new to this particular Parliament. It's been happening for years. That the manner in which the thoughts are exchanged and views are expressed, it is not an ideal situation. It is not. We all know that. Everybody knows that. So it is nothing new. But yes, we can try to change it. We should try to change it. But then again, that the onus of that doesn't fall only on the opposition. It goes to the ruling party as well.
Obviously, it takes two to clap.
Switching off the mics, there will be, you know, people
it takes two to tango. It takes two to clap.
So once you stop those kind of practices, I'm sure a certain dignified manner can be, you know, established in the Parliament, which would be in the interest of the country.
Vijay Kumar, I'm not as old as, I'll come to you, Sanju Verma. I'm not as old as Pulla Rao, but, you know, my growing up years when I would watch these parliamentary debates through the 90s, you know, even early 2000s.
You read about them. You read. You can go back 100 years and read.
No, but I'm talking about watching them and getting inspiration. But if I was a youngster today, I would not be inspired. I mean, disrupting Prime Minister's address in the motion of thanks, the manner in which the opposition does walk out, and I have seen this happening year after year after year for the last 5-6 years. They don't allow the Prime Minister of the country who has the mandate to speak.
I want to say a sentence. I was only a kindergarten.
I asked Vijay Kumar. Vijay Kumar.
Okay, sorry.
The people of this country are just wondering what has happened in this last 20 days. Except NEET issue, nothing has happened. The Congress has canvassed against the Prime Minister and it has got defeated. It got just 99 seats, lowest. Okay? Then the Prime Minister, the early Prime Minister has formed the government. Except the NEET issue, nothing has happened. All the things are the same. And Kejriwal has been arrested even earlier also. And the people have accepted that and they have voted BJP or its allies and they have formed the government. Except NEET issue, nothing has happened. Then why this ruckus in Parliament? And about the emergency, we are...
Chandan Gowda, you know, just flip the argument. The fact...
It's just they are trying to say we are victims. They are nothing. It's just they are trying to say that sort of, victim rule.
Yeah, victim. But you see, they need not have this sense of victimhood. Chandan Gowda, just flip the argument. Look at this. The opposition is buoyed by the fact that they have more numbers. For God's sake, that gives you more time in the debate to speak. Because with increased numbers, in whatever time is decided by the Speaker or the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha in the respective houses, the opposition now gets more time. Use that and speak your mind out on NEET scam, on whatever you want to put the government on the mat and let the House be in order, Chandan Gowda. Use this to your advantage. That should be the opposition strategy and not disrupting and not being able to speak.
Abhishek, you're right. But if you think about it, if you want to really understand the sources of this kind of behavior, you have to take a step back and observe how things have evolved. Now, turning off the mic when Rahul Gandhi is speaking is not something that is parliamentary, right?
But his mic is not shut. The speaker has clarified the mic was not shut. But even if there is a technical glitch, let's assume there is a glitch, if he is going to get 20 minutes, the mic is not going to be shut for 20 minutes, Chandan Gowda.
Yes, but there's something odd about the parliamentary space. If you think about how big laws have been passed, the show of hands, it was not really tabled. Laws that have enormous ramifications for the country. So there's a strange way in which the parliament is being used. Abhishek, we need to observe that first. We want the restoration of normal procedure, but if you want to understand why the normal procedure is not, seeing as often as it used to be, from what you remember from your college days, things have happened over time.
Anirban, 30 seconds before I give the last word to Sanju, because I have been starting with opposition and giving more time to the opposition. Anirban, does it show lack of confidence in the opposition that they are not letting the house in order despite having more numbers?
The people have actually shown more confidence compared to 2019 on the opposition. It is the government side that knows that this government is not going to last 5 years. Therefore, they are the ones who are jittery. They are the ones who are going to be even more dictatorial. Will try to be, but the opposition has every right to question them on every step and every decision. Just turning off the mics or turning the cameras away is not going to save the government this time. So therefore,
Sanju,
the opposition will be more aggressive. And
Sanju, last 30 seconds before I close.
The common man will be raised with even more force.
You have to give me my time.
Yes, no, I have to close. Sanju, you get as much time as Anirban.
You will jump in. You will jump in when others will speak. But
no, Anirban, your time is up. Sanju, you start, and you get as much time as Anirban. Not more, not less. You get as much time as Anirban.
The last time.
You have 5
She is going to dish out the...
Sanju, I did the balance. I did the balance. No, unfair. Sanju, I did the balance, and you got the time. You got the time, which was fair. Now you get the last word. Please do that.
Thank you. I first want to talk about the Samajwadi Party. The panelist made one very interesting comment. He said that, decorum is maintained when the opposition and the ruling party both tango. But I want to tell the Samajwadi Party spokesperson, when you sit here on a television debate and you give bhashan to the Modi government about decorum, about dignity, about parliamentary proceedings, I want to remind what Akhilesh Yadav said during the 2022 assembly polls. He said, अभी नरेंद्र मोदी जो ज्यादा समय काशी में बिताते हैं ना, ये बहुत बढ़िया बात है, क्योंकि अंतिम समय में आदमी काशी में ही ज्यादा समय बिताता है, indirectly calling upon the death of the Prime Minister. I think that was a new law in public discourse.
Shame. Sanju Verma.
Procedures are not being maintained. 1975 emergency.
Will you comment on that?
1975 emergency.
What happened then when he called currency Tanur by Tanur's girlfriend?
If Akhilesh Yadav said that, Sanju Verma, pull back. Mr. Chaturvedi, pull back. If Akhilesh Yadav said that, shame that he said that. But the fact is, the counterfact is, the Prime Minister. Okay, Sanju Verma, the counterfact is that the Prime Minister hardly spent any time in Varanasi for his campaign. He was there for a day to file for his nomination, and then he was there for a day of campaign. That was the end of it. So I think Akhilesh Yadav is factually wrong also. But we would be more than happy, friends, to be proved wrong if tomorrow, when the Parliament meets and the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha pick up the motion of thanks, and everyone cutting across the political divide comes and participates in the debate with decorum, the nation would be watching, and of course we would be closely watching. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and of course everyone on the panel for sparing time on a Sunday and coming in. And short break. Ivan Breaking is back. Monday, 8 p.m. Arnab Goswami is back with the debate.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible digital growth story. Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards, Friday, 5th July 2024.
He's the worst, he's the most corrupt, the most incompetent president in the history of our country.
Mohan Bhagwat's particular comment, which added fuel to the fire, and although he did not attribute it to anyone, but it happened in the immediate aftermath of the results, and when he starts speaking in that speech, he says, जो वास्तविक सेवक है, उसमें अहंकार नहीं आता कि मैंने किया. The Pradhanmantri ji refers to himself as Pradhan Sevak. Comment is made after the results. सबको पता है that the reference is an attempted reference to the Prime Minister. Was it not?
This was a special training batch of the Sevakari people. So when Sevakari people say this, that you must not have arrogance when you serve the people, this is right from Swami Vivekananda's time. And every Sarsang Chalak, right from Dr. Hedgewar, I can quote you the actual...
But it was not a general comment.
It was a general comment.
It was not a general.
It was comment for the Sevaks who were sitting there.
Where the software engineer meets the cool UI UX designer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world. Join us as we celebrate India's incredible digital growth story. Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards, Friday, 5th July 2024.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
You must be often left wondering through the week that many issues that register in your mind as important are lost as a blip in the daily grind. I'm going to help you. Pick up those issues, untangle them, dissect the politics behind them, and ultimately give you a broad sweep, a deep dive.
Get ready to witness the best technology extravaganza of the year. The first edition of the Republic Business Emerging Technology Awards has received an overwhelming number of nominations. Dominating the categories are AI and robotics, healthcare, edutech, fintech, banking and finance, and martech. Groundbreaking innovations and revolutionary ideas from the largest digitalized economy in the world.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Stormy session expected in the parliament tomorrow as Indie leaders are all set to stage a protest over NEET scam and CBI's arrest of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Showdown between India allies after Congress alleges that the party lost in the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections due to Kejriwal's Liquorgate taint.
यही मांग होगी कि दोषियों को गिरफ्तार किया जाए और दोषियों के खिलाफ सख्त कार्रवाई किया जाए.
Major cracks within Indie exposed. Congress's Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary takes on Mamata government, questions the state of law and order in Bengal in the aftermath of the poll violence. 3 new criminal laws to be implemented from tomorrow, set to herald the beginning of a new era in the country's justice delivery system. T20 World Cup triumph follows King Kohli, hitman Rohit Sharma, and now Ravindra Jadeja's retirement announcements. First up, viewers, the politics continues over the Delhi excise policy scam case, but this time the Congress has teared into Aam Aadmi Party over the issue and blamed Arvind Kejriwal for the poll debacle. Here's a complete report.
The political tussle continues in the national capital over the Delhi excise policy scam case. And this time, the Congress has trained its gun on the Aam Aadmi Party and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Delhi Congress leader Abhishek Dutt raked up the liquor scam case and held Aam Aadmi Party responsible for Congress's debacle in the Delhi Lok Sabha elections.
देखिए, हम तो लगातार जिस दिन से एक्साइज स्कैम मैं खुशी से कह सकता हूँ हमने खुद ने एक्सपोज करा था दिल्ली में, तब से लेके लगातार हमने उस समय के शासन से यही बात रखी थी, एक्साइज स्कैम में पूरी जांच होनी चाहिए. दुख इस बात का है कि लगभग एफआईआर के 18 महीने तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी के शासित ईडी सीबीआई ने कभी भी इस पर कोई जांच नहीं करी. मात्र चुनाव से 1 महीने पहले उन्होंने केजरीवाल जी को अरेस्ट करा, और केवल केजरीवाल जी को नहीं, हेमंत सोरेन जी को भी अरेस्ट करा, जिसको हमेशा हमने कहा है कि ये गलत है. 18 महीने तक आप कुछ करते नहीं और चुनाव से 1 महीना पहले आप किसी चुने हुए मुख्यमंत्री को अरेस्ट करते हो, ये गलत है. इस तरीके से नहीं होना चाहिए.
The BJP took no time in taking a swipe at both the Aam Aadmi Party and Congress over the issue. BJP leader Shehzad Poonawalla called the Aam Aadmi Party and Congress alliance a tie-up of convenience and said that Congress has confirmed the Liquorgate scam.
कि अरविंद केजरीवाल और आम आदमी पार्टी जो कह रही थी वेंडेटा पॉलिटिक्स है, अब कौन सी वेंडेटा पॉलिटिक्स है? कांग्रेस खुद मान रही है कि शराब घोटाला हुआ, इसीलिए कोर्ट ने, हाई कोर्ट ने, राउस एवेन्यू कोर्ट ने, किसी ने राहत नहीं दी. और अब तो कांग्रेस पार्टी की इंडी अलायंस में किस प्रकार से स्थिति बनती जा रही है. समाजवादी पार्टी ने कहीं पर पोस्टर लगा दिया, अखिलेश होंगे प्रधानमंत्री अगले. फिर बंगाल में तो इंडी अलायंस खत्म, केरला में झगड़ा शुरू ही है कांग्रेस और लेफ्ट के बीच में, और अब पंजाब से लेकर दिल्ली तक कांग्रेस पार्टी और आम आदमी पार्टी का ये झगड़ा, यही इंडी अलायंस का असली चिन्ह.
As Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal continues to remain behind bars, the Aam Aadmi Party is on the back foot. And now, as both the Congress and BJP are gunning for AAP, the politics is only expected to peak in coming days in the national capital.
Now moving on, another shocking video has come to light from West Bengal that has shamed humanity. A woman and a man, a couple, was being mercilessly beaten up by the people, and all the onlookers did nothing but watch as mute spectators.
A video of a woman being beaten up on the street has gone viral on social media. The horrific incident took place in West Bengal's Uttar Dinajpur district. The man can be seen beating up the woman black and blue. The worst part is that the woman is surrounded by several people who remain mute spectators to the incident. According to police sources, the villagers thrashed the couple for having an illicit affair. Now the politics has erupted over the public assault, with BJP training its guns at the Mamata government. BJP leader Amit Malviya has alleged that the attacker in the video is Tajemul, who's a close associate of Chopra MLA Hamidur Rahman. Sharpening his attack, Malviya further said there is a Sandesh Khali in every village of West Bengal. The shocker comes just days after a woman was mercilessly beaten up and dragged by hair in Cooch Behar district. The law and order is in shambles in West Bengal, but the big question is, when will Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee act against such atrocities?
About the whole administrative system where a couple, an adult couple would be taken away from their homes, would be thrown on the ground, would be beaten, would be kicked, would be slapped for having an illegal affair according to the senior villagers. How this particular incident will be explained and how these people will be given proper justice is a question, and why the ruling dispensation, the ruling party or the chief minister, who is also the police minister, has not spoken yet as we speak right now on this issue is also a question that is being asked by the common people of West Bengal. With video journalist Shom Bhupal, this is Kishaloy for Republic TV.
Well, we have some big breaking news coming in. After the video went viral on social media, accused Tajmul Haq has now been arrested for assaulting the couple in Uttar Dinajpur's Chopra district. Now, the police sources say that the attack was over the illicit affair between the couple, and now the accused Tajmul Haq has now been arrested by the Bengal police. We have Ishan Dev joining me live from the Bangla newsroom. Ishan Dev, shocking incident that has created ripples across West Bengal. Police finally swinging into action, arresting one person.
Exactly, Deepak. Brazen visuals have come in front of us from North Dinajpur district, and this is the Chopra area. This Tajmul, who is being seen in this video, brutally beating a woman and a man with the allegation against them that they are in an illicit relationship with each other. This Tajmul has been arrested by the police. A little while ago we have got this information, and more to that, throughout West Bengal, this incident has sent out shockwaves, and after that, police under compulsion has arrested this Tajmul. But this Tajmul, Deepak, you should know that this Tajmul is very close to Hamidur Rahman, who is the MLA of Chopra, and he is a very influential politician in the North Dinajpur district. And this Tajmul is known to be very close to him, and he is very close among the ranks and files of TMC in Chopra area. And this Tajmul is also infamous for arranging insaf meetings in many places. He is a self-proclaimed justice in that area, and he used to arrange such insaf meetings, and he used to pass on verdicts, and he himself took the role of executioner after passing the verdicts. So this was going on for a long time. After that, when this brazen visual came to surface that he is brutally beating up a woman and a man with a crowd surrounding them, and when it sent out a shockwave throughout the state, then the police has arrested him. But the local sources are saying that this kinds of activities by this Tajmul was not unknown to the local police and administration, as now this has come to surface and this has sent out a shockwave throughout the state. That's why police has taken a step against him. But till he is being brought to the justice, till a stern step is being taken by the administration and a stern verdict is being passed by the court, no one is ready to accept that Tajmul is going to be punished by this administration.
Right, Ishan Dev, many thanks for joining me with all those details. Well, that's a complete expose of how the Bengal police give a free run to all these goons. And finally, they have cracked down, arresting one person. Better late than never. But however, moving on, viewers, we have some more breaking news coming in, this time from Pune. A woman along with 4 children who had feared drowned at the waterfall near Lonavala's area. The breaking news is that 3 bodies have now been recovered and declared dead, while the search operations continue for the 2 others who remain missing. That's the breaking news, viewers. A family of 10 had visited this waterfall near the Bhushi Dam in Lonavala area, and they had planned a picnic, but tragedy struck. A woman along with 4 children are feared drowned, and so far 3 bodies have been recovered. Search operation continues for the others who remain missing. We have Sandeep joining us live on this broadcast. Sandeep, this is a big update coming in. 3 bodies have been recovered so far. Have the search operations been temporarily halted, or are they currently underway for the 2 others missing?
See, Deepak, currently the operations are still underway, but ultimately due to bad light, the disaster management team is finding it difficult to locate the body, but ultimately 3 bodies have been in fact recovered. There are high chances, Deepak, that the body recovery could start tomorrow as the day starts, but as the operation could in fact stop in some time. That is what we've been told. But ultimately 36-year-old women Shaista Ansari and 2 children have been in fact they have been located, they have been identified, but one 13-year-old and one 9-year-old child is in fact missing. A very tragic incident. They had gone out there for a picnic with family members. Around 10 to 14 people were there, but ultimately 5 people got stuck between the waterfall, and they in fact have drowned into that very waterfall. 3 bodies have been recovered, Deepak, but the search for 2 operation is still underway.
Right, Sandeep, many thanks for joining us with those details. Well, so far, viewers, 3 bodies have been identified and recovered. 2 are currently, still missing, and the search operations continue to fish them out. Meanwhile, let's shift our focus on the other top stories that we're tracking from across the nation in Bharat in 5 minutes. During the 111th